that quick. I don't know any 540-pound 70-year-olds.
Jason, you crazy as hell. But let's move on to another topic, though, and I need your opinion, man.
You're
Your
not
boy,
going to live
Shiloh Sanders.
Shiloh
Sanders was not invited.
She's not going to live another 5 years.
NFL scouting combine. I got to ask you, Matt, was Shiloh Sanders snubbed? 4 Colorado players were invited, including Shador, Travis Hunter, Jonte Wester, and Jimmy Horn Jr., but Shiloh was not invited. Was he snubbed?
No.
I have to be careful how I say this. I didn't get invited to the combine. I had 9 sacks when I was a senior. We played in the Big 12 title game, and I was a captain and an all Big 12 player, and I didn't get invited. It's hard, dude. It's a hard invite. Now, do I think he's good enough to get invited? Yeah, probably. But I have said that I think he's late round undrafted, and this is not. I didn't make the choice on Shiloh getting invited. Everyone that's about to freak out when I say this. The NFL is telling you how they value him as a prospect by not inviting him to the combine. Now, my suggestion to Shiloh is very simple, and the same thing that I'll say on my show at 1 o'clock. These people don't know dick. Tom Brady went 199. Like, some of the best players I ever played with were undrafted. Clay Matthews Jr. Or he's a walk-on. He wasn't undrafted, excuse me. Like, T.J. Warren was a walk-on in college. Like, guys that got to the NFL as undrafted free agents. Phil Lindsay's one of my guys. Made the Pro Bowl as a rookie as an undrafted free agent. So the long list of undrafted free agents out there that make teams and make people look stupid or long. I think that there's Sanders fatigue to a point, too. I think that probably now his last name may be hurting him a little bit in this instance because people will say, take away his last name and is he an NFL player? I think that he can definitely play special teams and develop and learn and be on a practice squad and learn how to, go do it. But I also wouldn't be surprised if Shiloh as a coach is the DB coach at CU in 4 years. He's already an older dude. He's been playing for 6 years in college. And there's nothing wrong with that. Everyone, please don't freak out because I said it. I only got 6 years as an undrafted guy. I hope that it works out for him. The NFL and the Combine decided that they didn't need to see him in Indianapolis to evaluate him anymore. They already have their book on him. He's going to get a pro day. So he can either let this motivate him, and this can be the biggest fire that's ever burned under his ass in his life. And we know that when he's challenged, he usually responds. He broke his arm, came back quick, didn't play very well, and then played pretty fucking good for about a month straight. And finished the season on a high note. So when he's challenged, he usually responds, and I'd imagine he'll do the same here. Was he snubbed? I mean, I don't know. I don't know if he was snubbed or not. That's their choice on who they fucking invite. But keep in mind that the combine is as fickle as the draft. Like it's let's be real, guys. How many fucking draft picks are washed in 3 years and aren't on teams? Half of them, if not more. So this is the thing I love about football the most is it's a grunt game.
Yeah.
Where I can actually go earn it. Like this is one of the last sports, regardless of your stars, your rankings, any of that shit. It comes down to physicality and want and earn and whether you're going to do the work or not, if you're going to show up early or not. It's like, it's one of the last refuge where you, as a man, you can go and earn it, where it doesn't matter what they say about you. It doesn't matter how they scout you. It doesn't matter any of that shit. So that would be my suggestion to Shiloh here is if you think you're an NFL safety, go prove it now that they're telling you that you're not one. So, that's the mindset I would take into it. And I think that I wouldn't be surprised if he gets a late invite also because they do that. They invite guys all the way up. But, when they went down to the Shrine Bowl, Horn and Wester both earned invites. They didn't think that Shiloh was good enough to go to the combine. So that is I'm pretty sure, Coach, you can tell me if I'm wrong on this. I'm pretty sure you need a certain number of teams that want to evaluate you in order to go to the combine. So if there's 32 teams, you need 25 of them or some shit.
I
to
think
put
you
you
gotta have half. I think half is enough.
16 teams to tell you that we really want to see this guy at the combine or interview him, or he needs to run better or whatever the fuck. So if they saw all they needed to see at the Shrine, then he'll get his pro day and we'll see. So it sucks for him. I'm not saying it's a good thing. It definitely sucks.
Yeah, you had a good point about the draft. The guys that draft, very few times do they know what the fuck they're doing. It's a crapshoot. I agree. That's a good take. Here's the only thing I say. I think his name actually helps him being a Sanders. If he was like some nobody name, I don't even think we'd even be discussing the kid, to be honest, especially at his age for his position.
You don't think there's any fatigue?
Nah, I think it helps him. I don't think we'd be talking about the kid at all. Like yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like, I think the kid would be like, it wouldn't even be on anybody's radar. He's 25 and a DB. That's the issue. And I want to get your take, because I think the guys you mentioned that went and we were like, all right, Tom Brady was a frail, long, strapping guy, came out of Michigan, didn't have a strong cannon of an arm, ball didn't hop off his hand. So we drafted him late. We weren't clear. And then this guy became some studious fucking a student of the game, and became known to have the it factor of all it factors. And that's something you probably can't grade when we're fucking these idiots out here who never even played the game are sent out to evaluate players. And now we're sitting here thinking a Wonderlic test is the fucking determinant on his draft status. So that's the part that I hate about it. This kid is a 25-year-old, though, to your point, like a Clay Matthews or a guy that played in the trenches. I think that sometimes gets overlooked when we see games and we're watching games and we're like, oh, well, Clay couldn't run sideline to sideline like fucking Ray Lewis, so he's going to drop. And and I know, color plays a fucking real role in this thing. And when you play running back, linebacker, DB, wide receiver, you and I both know if I'm looking at that, I'm probably skipping past the white kid on the film. I'm just going to keep it real. And especially if he don't pop out at you. And I know that fucking I know that Weddle and other people will tell you that's fact, and Matt knows this. So if that was the fact in the case here, 25-year-old kid that plays corner who's exposed like a butt-naked cat in Alaska, right? And what I mean is he's got to cover. He's got to cover, Matt, one-on-one. And you got to show hips, feet, all these things compared to a lineman and a linebacker who's inside run drill, who has help around him kind of cloud the GM's management skills is saying, okay, well, he took on the block. He didn't make the play, but he forced the play. You know what I'm saying? Like, all that shit it's a whole nother position, how we evaluate. He has no help. He's 25 years old. And let's be honest, I think he's very stiff. I think he's a special teams guy like Weddle does. Weddle thinks he's a special team guy. I think he's a special team guy at best. I don't think he's snubbed, though, no.
I wouldn't be surprised if I think the Raiders are still going to make a play for Shador. So I think there's going to be a lot of movement. There's going to be a lot of people moving around. I think that's just my opinion.
I disagree. Well, go ahead.
Well, that's fair. So let's say the Raiders or the Giants, one of those two teams go and draft Shador. If they have a late 7th round pick, late 6th, I wouldn't be surprised if they take Shiloh as well. But I also wouldn't be surprised if he goes undrafted and have to go cut his teeth and really earn it somewhere as an undrafted free agent.
I hear you right. Did you say Shador later? The Raiders taking him in the 6th round or Shiloh?
I'm saying Shador, if he goes, like, let's say the Giants trade up to 1 and take him, or the Raiders trade up to 2 or 3 and take him, later in the draft, that same team that took Shador may end up taking Shiloh in the 6th or 7th, is what I'm saying.
Here's what I heard yesterday from a few people in the league that told me, and I spoke to Shaun and Weddle about it. Pete being 73, I don't believe has the time to go with a rookie, number one. So I think he's going to steer away from it. I think he's going to go for what he knows and go get a veteran guy, either as Wilson, who he knows, match that up with a Tyler Lockett, who can get cheap from Seattle, who already has a camaraderie. Bring that together. Or he'll go and try to get either A-Rod, who's available now that the Jets said no go with him, or somebody like Sam Darnold. I think he goes that route because he's 73. If he was 63, If he was 63, I would agree with you. I don't think he has the time to go with a rookie and try to guess this thing out.
I'm a little
biased,
greedy on this because I watched Shador in the AFC West, and there's just part like I remember back in the day. Obviously, I was 3 years old, but I'm a student of this game, and I love the history of it. The fucking Raiders could have drafted Dan Marino. And you imagine Marino and Elway being in the same division for fucking ever? Like, can you imagine if
the division getting better too
before realignment, when the Colts were in the AFC East, you would have had Brady Manning twice a fucking year in the AFC East and shit. Holy dog shit, bro.
Let me give you another scenario from what the whole story that we heard yesterday was, and I want to get your take. We think. All of us combined think, and I talked to 2 running back or buddies of mine that coach running back in the league that help with scouting. They think quarterback's going to fall hard. They think the first round's going to be riddled with O-line, D-line, pass rushers, and some guys that you can try to get because wideouts it's a down year for wideouts. It's a down year for Qs in all people's eyes, I guess, including myself. So here's the point, the overall point though. People are going to try to jockey right now for free agents, quarterbacks, free agent quarterbacks, trade bait quarterbacks that we can trade for, or veterans that are sitting there somewhere on someone's roster right now that's a backup or something instead of draft and maybe lose that pick. This is what I predicted. We'll play this game with you actually since I think we should play the game with Matt Bailey.
Cool.
But Matt, Pete Carroll being a defensive guy, I think they're trading to get Myles Garrett. Myles Garrett, Max Crosby on the edge. You give up that first round pick. You give up that pick, and then you get a Russell Wilson for a Chico stick and string cheese with a Tyler Lockett, sure up that run game. Because you and I know Pete's going to do kind of what Harbaugh does. They're both kind of similar in the thought process. I'm going to build my defense first. Pete Carroll's a fucking defensive guy. I'm going to run the football. I can play mediocre at quarterback just like – because Herbert did okay. He didn't turn the ball over, but he didn't have no stellar statistical year. He just didn't turn it over because Harbaugh's offense. Pete Carroll's going to do the same thing. So I want to play this game with you, Matt, because I have some interesting takes. We got some interesting players. Matt, don't have time?
If Myles Garrett goes to the Raiders on the other side of Max Crosby, holy fucking God.
I know. What do you